we're Larry and Shirley Jeffries. We used to live in New Mexico. Decided to move to Sequim after 40 years of living high and dry, to come to a totally new environment for our retirement years, and we're just absolutely pleased, happy, love it up here. We came and visited the Sequim area for the first time. My daughter, who lives in Tacoma, brought us up here to the Olympic Game Farm, and it was great. And somewhere along the line I got the idea that I should move to Sequim. We should move to Sequim. And the following May, we got a hold of Chuck. A friend had found Chuck's website and recommended it to us. Actually, the friend lives here, lived in New Mexico where we did, and had moved here to Sequim. And we sat down to find out what this guy's all about, and we liked what we heard. He gave us homework, do our due diligence, and from May 2011 till September 2011, we started going on his website and all things Sequim every day, looking for houses, making a list. We eventually came up with about 30 houses. At the time, we came up with about 30 houses that we liked. We narrowed it down to 10 or 15, and came back up here in September of 2011. Met with Chuck, and he started driving us around, looking at houses and giving us quite an education on the quality of houses and how this house was built and how this was built better than the other one, and it was very educational. And finally stumbled upon this house, and we said, that's the one. Made an offer, and Chuck helped us write it up. We didn't know how to write up offers. And a couple days later, he called us up and said, well, congratulations. They accepted your offer. And then we started the process. He recommended a mortgage lender for us, and we were in constant phone, email, fax contact back and forth with Chuck, because we could not possibly have pulled off buying a home and moving to Sequim without his help. And we relied on him to be our agent, our contact here in Sequim, and he attended all the inspections and double checked this and that and the other thing for us, and told us how to proceed. And the next thing you knew, in about a month and a half, we owned the house. So we couldn't have done it without Chuck. And I don't know, his website was just amazing. Shirley got where she could really navigate his search site to find houses that we liked.
Well, yeah, basically buying a house is a really big deal, and we hadn't done it for 40 years, and so we were in the market going, gee, how do we do this? So it was nice because we met Chuck. I felt comfortable with him. We did a lot of touring around Sequim, because before we moved up here, or before we saw it, I said, let's just go up and see what it looks like, because I don't know if I really want to move up there. And he was already convinced, but I wasn't. And so it was nice because the town had everything we needed or would want, and we didn't look at houses the first time we came up here. We just met with Chuck. I was comfortable with him. It also helped us when we went back to sell our house, because we hadn't sold it at that point, to look at our house that we owned and fix it up a little bit better, or a lot better, and we did finally sell it. But without Chuck, we wouldn't have been able to do it, because when you're doing it from 1,500 miles away, you got to have somebody that you trust, and he's been great.
Yeah, we didn't know much about buying or selling a house. We got quite an education about buying houses from Chuck, and then we also got quite an education about selling a house from Chuck. So when we went back to our home in New Mexico, we looked at it and said, we need to do some work if we intend to sell this.
Yep.
So we did, and finally were able to sell the house to a young couple, their first house, and they were really excited to get it. And we've done quite a bit of work and fixed it up to where we were proud of it. And but we got all that education when we were up here looking at houses, and with Chuck's help and advice, pointing out things we probably wouldn't have known otherwise.
Well, the other thing that I really liked about Chuck was there wasn't a lot of, it wasn't a high pressure situation. We went to houses and he would point out things, but it wasn't like, you gotta buy it, you gotta buy it, you gotta buy it. We would, it was like, wow, this is great, because we had the time and the expertise to make an intelligent decision instead of just something that was emotional. That was really valuable.
One thing Chuck didn't tell us about or didn't warn us about was the fantastic neighbors we have. We got some of the best neighbors in the world. It's been a fantastic experience and we're loving it more and more every day.